Extension Opportunity 3, AP U.S. History, Alex Brogan. Marking Period 1, Extension Opportunity 3. So over the summer I went to Independence Hall in Philadelphia, and here's a little history. The first version of Independence Hall was called the State House and was erected in 1732. However, in 1753 it took its current shape that we know today. It was added on to and improved, so we can say that the current Independence Hall was quote-unquote built in 1753. It was a meeting place for influential members of the new and uprising nation known as America. Independence Hall has played an important role in early American history, from the signing of the Declaration of Independence to the Second Continental Congress to the U.S. Constitutional Convention. Independence Hall was there. It sits in Philadelphia's historical district because it is part of the nation's history and Philadelphia's history. It is associated with other places and objects such as the Liberty Bell, the Free Quaker Meeting House, the Betsy Ross House, and the Todd House. All of these historical sites make Philadelphia's historic district quite more historical and like any others. Did you know that there's no historical factual evidence to support the fact that Betsy Ross actually sewed the first American flag? And did you know that on the Liberty Bell, Pennsylvania is spelled Pennsylvania? This was an accepted spelling at the time, which is why it is spelled that way. Anyway, back on track. Philadelphia is a rich historical center of our nation, which houses Independence Hall. The first thematic learning objective I am going to connect to is Politics and Power, POL, and I am going to use the historical thinking skill of contextualization. The Declaration of Independence connects to Period 3, which is 1754 to 1800. As I briefly mentioned above, the Declaration of Independence was signed at Independence Hall way back in the year of 1776. By the way, contrary to popular belief, the Declaration of Independence was not signed on July 4, 1776. Most of it was signed on August 2nd, 1776. But anyway, the colonists were very unhappy and frustrated with the quality and morals of British rule. They were being unfairly taxed, unfairly treated, and they were done. The colonists knew it was time to break free and express their individuality. Out of this desire came the Declaration of Independence. It was an airing of grievances against the King of England, King George. It put into legal writing the causes of the Revolutionary War. It was sort of triggered by Thomas Paine's common sense, but that was more so the Revolutionary War as a whole. Now this connects to politics and power because it is one of the first times America used political power in the world. It also contextualizes into the birth of a nation. This all connects to Independence Hall because the Declaration of Independence was indeed signed there. The next thematic learning objective I'm going to connect to is National and American Identity, NAT. I'm going to use the historical thinking skill of interpretation. This next part connects to Period 3, which spans from 1754 to the year 1800. So after the Revolutionary War was over and stuff, we won, which you know. Our first form of government ran under the Articles of Confederation. That seems all fine and great on the outside. But on the internal, it was a disaster for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, it did not have the power to tax citizens. This was a huge flaw because the government needed money to pay off war debts from the Revolutionary War. Another big flaw was that it was very weak. It It was not a strong government. This pleased some of the citizens because they were afraid of the monarchy that they just overturned. They thought that a strong federal government would become just like Britain Part 2. One thing it did do good for was the Northwest Ordinance, which banned slavery all in the Northwest Territories. Anyway, this form of government was not working out and you needed a change. This is where we get to the U.S. Constitutional Congress. It was a meeting of delegates and U.S. officials to try and change and improve the Articles of Confederation. It didn't work, however, but what we got out of it was the Constitution, so that was good.